And I want you to know one thing. It's been a pleasure. You just like to dance, don't you, Carl?
That's right.
You like to dance. That was famous. Hello, welcome to 101. I'm your host, Greg Walker. Hopefully you tuned in last week. This is show number 2. Our guest, John Osborne. If you don't know John, well, you're going to find an interesting man today. We've talked a lot about his background and him coming through Clarksville High. He's done so many things, interesting jobs, very intelligent. He was a tremendous football player in high school. He went on to play football at Tennessee Tech on scholarship. He's just a good gentleman. He's a very good man. Settle back, relax, and once again, hopefully you'll enjoy our conversation, down to earth, with John Osborne as he joins us for show number 2 right after these words.
We're celebrating 45 years of serving you at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's #1 import dealer.
We're saying thank you with $6,300 off a new Altima, $4,700 off a new Rogue.
New Versa, $10,655, $11,000 off a new Titan XD.
With 800 new and used in stock, you're sure to find the car you want at the price you want.
Auto credit challenged, we can help.
You're gonna love our prices, Matthews Nissan.
Life is good. Through the years, you've worked, played, and vowed to protect each other. Because you love her, you make sure you have made your final arrangements. Pre-planning protects your loved ones from the burden of making those decisions during a time of loss. At Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home, services are professional, personal, dignified, and affordable.
Neil Tarpley Parchman, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome to our show today, back for show number 2. The talented old pro, John Osborne.
Great to be here. Good to see
Good to have you here, man. Only other time you ever appeared was with Earl Walton on radio back in the 60s.
Back in the 60s. This is the second time I've ever been on any kind of show.
And you're natural. See, we've just been having fun. We did that last week. If you mind down-to-earth conversation, you're not going to get into this.
Okay.
When you graduated Clarksville High, got your football scholarship to Tennessee Tech.
Right.
Give us a brief roundup of what happened there.
Well, you mean after Tech or just going to Tech?
Going to Tech.
Well, of course, went up in towards the end of August.
Went to on your scholarship to play football.
Right. And schools back then were on quarter system, so the classes didn't start till the latter part of September.
Right.
So fall camp for football, it's kind of miserable. And being a freshman football player, actually a lot of people call us a few things, but they call us the dummy squad because we were blocking dummies. They would stand us out, and the guys on the varsity just knocked the devil out of us. They told us, do not hit them back because you might hurt them. So we just stood out there with our arms down. And some of the kids, some of the players, the coaches, if they couldn't get up, they said crawl off, and they would crawl off, get up, and go home. We started out with 70-something freshmen, and I think we ended up the year with 20-something out of the original 70-something.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and you'd wake up in the middle of the night, and you'd hear people slamming their door in the dorm, dragging their bags down the hall.
Going home.
Going home. And
so your first year you played on the JV, basically.
well, it was freshman squad, or dummy squad,
Right.
And then that season was over. What we did was we would run the chains during the ball games, on the sideline. And then in the spring is when everybody was equal. I mean, all positions were open. And so I had gained a fair amount of weight, and I just decided it was time.
195 coming out of high school.
Yeah, and I ended up playing, excuse me, 220 pounds. And it was solid 220 it was weight.
I know it was.
And I just got tired of getting knocked around and trying to be good athlete, because a lot of people up there wanted to hurt you. And so I decided I was going to stop them. And I ended up that spring starting inside linebacker. So, and a couple of people on the varsity come over and said, it's about time they put you over here. So that was the whole mental thing of going from high school to college, because they get serious about it.
Yeah.
And so the next fall, my second fall up there, I was starting inside linebacker. And that's during 8 years when I really got my knee tore up and broke spinous process in my neck.
Yeah.
So it was, like I was saying before, it was a blessing that I busted my knee up because of the broken spinous process in my neck. And so that was the end of it. That was the end of my playing.
Yeah.
And Coach Tucker got fired. New coach come in. He didn't know me anything, and so he wanted me out of there.
Yeah.
And so he was pretty hateful. So, I was still getting operations on my knees. They did pay for that. And
well, your neck still hurts you today.
neck, it's very painful.
Yeah.
And very limiting. You know, the other joints hurt too, but nothing like my neck.
Yeah.
And so I dropped out.
Joined the service, didn't you?
Tried to get in, couldn't get in because of my knee and blood pressure, and I had 5 physicals trying to get in the Army, and so I ended up dropping out and working. Actually, I worked daytime at the Old Quality Products factory right beside train. It's changed owners several times. And that was a daytime. At nighttime, I worked in a liquor store, Powell's package store.
Yeah.
The Maddox.
Yeah.
And got enough money to where I went back to school about a year later, and just did everything I could to pay for it. And I did finally graduate.
And Mr. Maddox was a bird, wasn't he?
He was a good guy. Yeah.
Yes, he was.
He was a good guy. You know, I'm glad I did it. And then I went on down to Florida to teach my first year, and ended up a couple years later back working.
You got your fill of the beaches, though, didn't you?
I got all, and like I said, I'm putting up with all the skin cancers now for the year on the beach in Florida. Of course, we didn't. There was no sunscreen or anything like that. So
you came back home, though, from there.
Yeah, taught school one time here, but there was no way I could survive or support a family, you know, on the money I made. You know, because I was coaching here, but my pay for being a coach was I got a job teaching. So there was no pay for coaching.
No supplements?
None at all, no. I drove team buses, you know, for teams in Montgomery County, but if it did not go out of the county, I didn't get paid for it.
Really?
Yeah. The only way I got paid for driving team buses was it went out of the county. And so it was, you know, the end of that year that, and I don't know how I did it, but I passed a physical to get into the Air Force with a pilot slot. And when I got down to Lackland, they looked at my knee and said, said, you're going home. I said, don't know how you got here. And so by the time I got back here, my jobs were gone. And that's when I ended up, because my oldest brother Quentin was assistant manager. Roger Miller's King of the Road in Nashville, and he said, come up and get in the boat. That was a good place.
Been there with Quentin.
Yeah, yeah. So I ended up assistant manager of the old Ireland store.
Oh, I love those steak and biscuits.
Oh, yes.
I wish you was there today.
I probably couldn't get in your door.
I know, man, that's good.
But the lucky thing was I was working at nighttime, and I started in the fall, and then I started thinking I need to do something in the daytime. So I went down to Murfreesboro to Middle Tennessee State. And, you know, they have an aerospace program down there. So got a pilot's license and started taking classes, and ended up getting an MAD in aerospace education. So that was fun. It kept me busy in the daytime, because I would go back working at nighttime, you know, some places 4 o'clock, some places 5 o'clock, so I could get my classes done, a little bit of studying done, and take a nap, and then go to work at night.
Right. You like to stay busy though, didn't you?
It kept me busy.
Busy.
It kept me busy. And then I did a few cranky things after that. Started dating a flight attendant with American Airlines, and she introduced me to the base manager there in Nashville, and I ended up losing about 70 pounds and getting hired as a flight attendant.
Really?
Because they said that was the only place you could get a job with American now as a flight attendant, and they said, since I was working on my commercial and instrument ratings flying, that I might be able to get on as a pilot, which was wrong, because there were so many Vietnam era pilots around that they had so many
jobs.
So many people looking for jobs.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a few years, and it was fun. Met a lot of people, and I have to tell you this: met a guy, and he ended up renting a room to me from his condominium, and he was a new hire as a pilot, but he had been a POW in Vietnam for 6.5 years.
Oh no.
We had more conversations, and this is one of those people that when you stop and think about the people you've met in your lifetime, that he is special.
Oh, he's one of the most remarkable you've ever met.
And it really bothers me when people downgrade people that were captures and were POWs. And I think you know who I'm talking about, our president. We could sit down and talk, and he would start telling me stories, and most of the time he could laugh about them, and he had that kind of attitude because he knew he had to be able to, you know, not get upset. But some of his friends were totally different. A lot of his friends would come over that had been POWs, and they would not talk about it, and I didn't say much to him about it. But my roommate Bernie Talley, he had a good mindset. You know, there were some things that really upset him, but most things, it's unbelievable some of the things he would tell you that went on that he would laugh about. But he is one of the most memorable individuals
I can believe that.
you ever met.
I can believe that.
But time came that I needed to go back to school and get out, and because I did that over 6 years, did a lot of traveling, and did a thing, and met some good people.
We'll talk about more. John Osborne, our guest. Show 2, segment 2 coming up right after this.
When your heart is full of grief, the last thing on your mind are the details. At Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home, we specialize in handling all the planning for the celebration of life your loved ones deserve. Neil Tarpley Parchman offers services for all faiths and veterans. In your hour of need, we care.
Neil Tarpley Parchman, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome back, John Osborne, show number 2. We were talking about your roommate, 6.5 year POW, one of the most remarkable men you've ever met. I'd
definitely.
say, obviously so, no question about that. He had the right frame of mind.
Yes.
And he loved Richard Nixon, I bet
He
you.
loved Richard Nixon.
You know. What was Nixon? That was within his first 100 days.
You know, I forgot.
I may be
probably.
wrong.
Yeah,
I may
I'm
be
not
wrong.
sure.
I may not.
Not sure.
But anyway, he got it done.
He got it done.
He got it done. So you are, at this time, I'm trying to think where we were in your process.
Yeah, I was at the beginning of
In your
my job as a flight attendant, and
Yeah.
and then did that for a few years, and then knew I needed to change. They told me no way I was going to get to be a pilot. And
well, you were so smart, you could have done anything you wanted to do, John.
well, I left and come back and did a few things. Went back working in the bars, and then finally I had
You even learned how to bartend.
yeah. Matter of fact, I was on the first crew of the General Jackson.
Really?
Yes, and that was my last job. From that point, I went back to teaching again. But working on the General Jackson was a lot of fun.
Was it?
It was. It was interesting. People didn't tip, so it didn't pay as much as everybody expected. They had some real good, experienced people working on the Jackson. But
You told me, though, you made more money bartending.
that was before.
Yeah, I know, earlier.
Yeah.
Earlier.
And-
I mean, just at the King of the Road, for example.
Yeah.
Or
Well, in the 70s, like 74, 75, I made usually over $400 a week. Teaching school, I made less than $400 a month, teaching and coaching. So some, that was the reason I could pay for flying lessons,
yeah,
because I made enough money as a bartender that I could pay the bill for flying lessons,
yeah,
which is expensive.
right.
So, but that was a good way to invest that money. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I ended up, after leaving that, I ended up back teaching after I left the General Jackson
Where'd you teach at?
in Gallatin for a couple of years.
Okay.
And there was fine people, one of the finest gentlemen, because I was coaching in their junior high school, and the head JV coach there was Coach Ed Martin. And he was a gentleman. He was a gentleman, and he was a big gentleman. He was about 6'5", 6'6".
Well, a TSU legend,
Yeah. And
Tennessee legend, Hall of Fame.
Mississippi Valley State, and he was one of the classiest gentlemen I've ever met.
Tiger Bells,
Yeah. Yeah, he was good.
you
He
know.
was good. But that's when actually we had a snow day, and I was sitting there, and I had an application for teaching assistantship at University of Kentucky, and I filled it out and sent it in, and I got accepted at University of Kentucky Department of Anatomy and Neurobiology to work on my PhD. So, and why on earth I did that, I don't know. But I did. And
Well, you got your doctorate.
I got my doctorate. Took 5 years, and learned about research. Worked on some development processes in part of the brain, the cerebellum, and looked at some others. So had a few articles published, and but by the time I got out there, I was 44, and if I'd wanted to teach in medical school, I was going to have to do a postdoc. And I started to do one for a couple months, and then I just said, no, I can't do 4 more years.
Right.
And so I ended up going back teaching at Eastern Kentucky University.
On the hill in Eastern, huh?
Yep. And
You know, Richmond's a nice city.
oh, it is. It's good, but it was non-tenure track. So and those, they can fire you anytime they want.
Yeah.
So then I got a tenure track job at East Tennessee State, and it's a good school, and that is some of the most beautiful mountains. I mean, it is gorgeous up in there,
Beautiful area.
and some mighty fine students, some good faculty, but the students work so hard. Most of them, most of them. A lot of them, they were the first person out of their family to ever go to college. A lot of them were working at nighttime. And a lot of them appreciated the fact that I had worked in bars and going to school too. They appreciated I knew what they were going through.
Yeah, you've been on the streets.
Been on the streets, and a lot of them really appreciated that.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
And then I was up there a total of 13 years. My mom was getting older, and oldest brother Quentin died of cancer in June of '04, and I could tell she was starting downhill after that because he was at home. And I knew I was going to have to leave, so when I got to a point where I could take early retirement, I retired, came back to Woodlawn, And I'm glad I did, because she eventually developed a type of dementia called sundowner's disease.
You started teaching a little bit at Austin Peay.
My retirement lasted 2 weeks, and and I was adjunct for Austin Peay.
Yeah.
And after about a year on campus, they said I could go out to Fort Campbell at nighttime, and that was such a pleasure, teaching GIs and their spouses. I mean, they are so motivated. Had special forces people, special ops, and I mean, not only was it a pleasure to teach them, but it was an honor. It really was, because they worked so hard, and they did well. They were smart. That's the reason they're special forces, special ops.
Right.
But their spouses worked just as hard. And but then my mom got to a point where
Dementia, cruel disease.
Yeah, and sundowners, when the sun goes down, it's a total difference. And she started begging me not to leave, telling me people were going to kill her, and I just couldn't, so I had to quit that. And then she broke her hip, and like a lot of people said, when they break their hip, that's usually the beginning of the end. So she broke her hip in May of 14, and she passed away September of 14. She had surgery and everything was looking good, and then you know, it just went down. So. But her suffering's over now. She's in a much better place. She was a good Christian lady, and you know, if I could have brought her back, like I was standing right beside her when she stopped breathing, and I thought about CPR, and I thought, why bring her back to the misery? Huh. So it just, and that's hard to do, stand there and look at your mom.
Well, that's the truth, though.
But it is the truth. You know, why bring her back to her misery? So, you know, we just let her go. And
the Lord wanted her, it's time to go.
That's right. Nothing else. He wanted some good biscuits.
And she did. Could she make some good ones?
Oh, gracious, I'll tell you what. She took after her mom. You know, there was 13 kids in her family. They didn't have running water. They didn't have plumbing. But boy, her mom could cook. Oh, goodness. Talk about biscuits. Talk about gravy. She can do about anything. Oh.
Biscuits and gravy.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Well, now, you've had Ireland's biscuits and your mom's biscuits. How you compare them?
Oh, I mean, mom's biscuits, I mean, make them from scratch and big, and boy, it just, and good sausage gravy and chicken gravy. Yeah, Ireland's was good, but no.
John Osborne, stretch run right after this.
We're celebrating 45 years of serving you at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's #1 import dealer.
We're saying thank you with $6,300 off a new Altima, $4,700 off a new Rogue.
New Versa, $10,655, $11 grand off a new Titan XD.
With 800 new and used in stock, you're sure to find the car you want at the price you want.
Auto credit challenged, we can help.
You're gonna love our prices, Matthews Nissan.
Stretch run, second show. Man, it's flown by, hasn't it, John?
It's just been fun, though, but it has gone by.
Let's see how much we can get in 3 minutes here.
Right.
Best advice you've ever received?
Whew. It's hard to say, you know, because I've talked to so many different people. I'd say probably people have told me, do not give up on your dreams. Do not give up on your dreams. And another thing, be aware of what you can do and do it. Plus, also work for yourself. Don't expect anybody to give you stuff, know what you can do, and take care of it yourself. Make your own payments on stuff, and when you get in a tough spot, do your best to get yourself out of it. Just don't ask or don't expect people to get you out of all your problems, and don't expect somebody else to.
Sort of like when you climbed that tree that day.
Yep. When I climbed the tree, it's between 2nd and 3rd grade, and my dad pulled up and asked him to help me get out of the tree, and he said, "You got yourself," not necessarily that word, but you got yourself up that tree, you get yourself out of that tree. And then he walked in the door. And like I said, he died before I had a chance to thank him for a lot of the good advice he had given me.
Yeah.
In
other words, you got in this jam, you get out of it.
You get out of it. You get out of it.
I can't be there to get you out of everything that you get into.
That's right. And that has stayed with me ever since somewhere between 2nd and 3rd grade.
Favorite thing to drink?
Honestly, water. I love water. When I've been working outside, and I do a lot out at Woodlawn now, when I'm really hot, Gatorade.
You like Gatorade?
I'm going to be honest with you, and a lot of people don't believe me, but I like Gatorade better than I do beer.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but now occasionally I sit down watching TV, and I have a beer. But when I'm hot and tired, Gatorade and water. So.
Yeah, rehydrate.
Yes.
That's what you want to do,
Yes.
rehydrate.
Yes.
That alcohol will take it away.
It sure will. It sure will.
Best meal?
Ooh. That's
Come on now.
There's a lot of things. Like my mom during Thanksgiving. Boy, it's sweet potato casserole, sweet potato pie. Oh, love ham. Mashed potatoes and gravy, love biscuits. It just, I could go on and on.
I know.
Obviously. She's been dead almost 4 years, so it's gone.
Music.
Music. Oh, I love country music. I love jazz. Probably the only music I'm really not attracted to is the big opera
Really?
stuff. And but country music, jazz, you know, the soft music. Yeah, I love that.
Love you, bud.
Thank you so much. We love you too. Take care of
You
yourself.
know that. Always fun.
Yeah.
We've become closer the older we've gotten, haven't we?
That is the absolute truth.
I mean, no question about
No
it.
question about it.
John Osborne for Steve Sawyer, our director, producer. For yours truly, Greg Walker. Till next time, my buddy Horace Heggie for always coming to help me out. What would I do without Horace? Have a nice rest of the day, folks.